Coming up on today's episode. Good New Year's Day to you all, YouTube, and Happy New Year. Here with you at the bench once again at DERB. What you see in front of you on the bench, this little item here, is my latest design, and I will flash up a picture exploded diagram of this case as I built it, and show you what that's going to look like when it's finished. Now this is the bottom part of it, of the case, bottom of the case, and it's a little difficult to see because it's black. I had just ran out of gray filament when I did my well, actually this one right here behind it, I just had barely enough. Let's see if I can show you this. This was what I had left on the spool. So as you can see, I cut that one kind of close. So it did print just fine though, and so like I said, I did get that printed. That's the mono version of the 20 watt amplifier, and it works great. I think I've done some demos of it. But now this one, I completely did a redesign, and in addition to the exploded diagram that I just showed you, I'm going to show you what I was aiming for, and that is what I'm going to hope this is going to be looking like when it's finished. That's a Peachtree amplifier. Those are rather expensive amplifiers, and I kind of like the shape of it, and it would fit my purposes here as far as what I'm trying to accomplish. Obviously, I wanted something a little bit, as you can see there, I wanted something a little bit wider. That's how much wider it is. There's the difference right there. Well, actually right there. But, so, because for one thing, it's going to have 4 controls on it, because there's going to be a balance control on it. This is the stereo version, as I said, of the 20 watt. Bob happily designed a separate board for the 20 watt stereo, which I wanted because, and he claims I'm a slave driver, but I don't think he really, I think he really just wanted to use the 20 watt mono version and just do 2 of them. But I think the stereo version will be probably more popular than the mono version. The mono version was mainly for me to use with the ICO FM tuner, and that's what that's going to be painted up as. Is once I get it done, I've got rubber feet coming for it, and for this, as a matter of fact. So those will be sitting off the bench a little bit more. As you can see, I added some ventilation slots, and I did a test of the mono version, which I have not published. I basically, it was an hour-long test of this playing music for an hour at a little over half on the volume. It was a good test of it, make sure it didn't overheat and things like that. And I think it performed admirably. I believe the hottest the transistors got up to, and that's the power transistors, was 108, I think, Fahrenheit. And I think the transformer itself didn't get even up to 100. So that's going to be good, I think. So again, that's that. But now this, as I said, this was the bottom piece to this. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a lip here in the front. We'll look at it this way, maybe. And it does not go all the way around. It just goes down that far, and that's all flat right there. And like I said, that's the way that's working. Now, the back side is a little bit different. It does go all the way around, and there will be a back printed for it, which will fit in there and screw on the back. So now the side, as you can see, there is 2 holes on each side, And also, if you look at that, I don't know how easy it is to tell, but there's a slot here. This is only a 1 millimeter strip here, where the case itself is 2 millimeters, and I've basically made an overhanging slot on the top one that will come down and cover this and fit into that little grooved opening there, and it matches these holes here, and so when it's put together, it will basically be able to be screwed together that way. Now, that's how the case itself goes. Now the chassis, and I do have the chassis printed, let me show you that, is this. And this is basically the way I printed it, just so you can see how it's printed. There's the back side of it. But Bob will tell you that I do not like printing anything with supports. And I design most of my stuff to print without support, and this was no exception. Like I said, this is the front panel and chassis of the case. And if we look at the case once again, we can see that this will fit in here just perfectly. And I couldn't have done a better job of designing this. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see now this chassis side can slide back and forth. What I'm going to do is get that back as far as it will go, and that's pretty much it right there. So back against the back wall there. These are able to take screws on the corners here, each corner, and I will put a screw on each corner on the bottom to hold that. Basically pull it in tight and hold it tight in there, and that's what will secure the chassis to the bottom of the case. And then once the top is put on, obviously this can't go anywhere. It's captured inside the case, so that will hold the everything on perfectly, I do believe. And as I said, the top of the or back, of the case will be screwed onto that. Now I haven't decided yet. I may just put things on the side, because you can see I don't know if I have enough room to get all that in there or not. But you know, if we do or don't, it won't make any difference. We'll get something going for sure. I might try to just put one right in the center. Maybe I can do that and get that. There's not really much to screw there to, but you know, maybe I can figure something out there. We'll try. But I made this mesh like this because I want to make sure it's got plenty of ventilation in it, and I don't want to make sure. Well, I want to make sure that it doesn't overheat in there, like that. Like I said, it will sit off the about that far. Let's see, about that far off the tabletop. And so there should be enough room underneath it to basically take care of all that. And I hope it does, because I really like the design of this. I was really pleased. I started this once, and then I had to scrap it and start over because it didn't turn out exactly like I wanted it to. So, like I said, that's how I've got it right now, and it fits rather nice. And like I said, what I'm going to do today here is basically put these screws in on each end and get that much done. Now, I don't know how well you can tell, but the printer itself is over there happily printing the top, and that takes around 10 hours, I think. And I started printing it a couple hours ago, so it's got a ways to go. It should be done this evening before bedtime, I hope. And the back itself is basically the same size as this, so it won't take too long to do. And like I said, I hope to paint this. Some of these I've wanted to paint, and I haven't really gotten around to it. But I want to paint this just like the Peachtree amp. I want the case itself, that brown, and then have this the front and back white, and that will be that. So I think so. Now my version, I don't know yet. And I haven't really said anything about this, but again, Bob has the stereo version of the 20 water in boards in production right now, and I don't know when they'll be done, but JLC PCB has them and is working on them to get them out to us. Now these are just a prototype 5 run, and we always do that first to make sure everything's working and stuff like that. Also at the same time, he sent a power supply board in, which will accept that transformer that you saw in this version of the amplifier, and it will have a board to it will have a 24-volt regulator and a bridge rectifier and things like that, capacitors on it, and it will be ready to go. Now what I'm going to do, instead of using it, I think what I'm going to do is mount my transformer directly to this mesh here, because I wanted to keep the you know, the, what do you call it, down as far as I could. And if you look at that, it's pretty close to that size, so it should fit in there fairly well, I hope. I have the option of taking and cutting out a section of that and just basically mounting it to the bottom instead of the top of it. And if I do that, I know I'll have plenty of room in there to do that. So either way, it will fit in there, and that's exactly what I want. Then I'm just going to use a perf board, and I'm going to do the bridge rectifier, the 24-volt regular fire. That didn't sound very good. The 24-volt regulator and the capacitors and any other circuitry, it needs to be on a perf board right here. And in fact, I think it'll be up front, because I believe I'm going to try to mount the transformer towards the back, because the slots on top are in the back and they're about that wide. And so I think that'll be the best way to do that. So that's the plan on that. Now the board itself should fit on this side with no problem. I don't know exactly how big it is, but I believe it should work there. The way I've got it designed the case is that the board should fit in here long ways. I think that's how it fit. And so whatever the case is. Also at the same time, I've ordered parts from Tata to populate the board. As a matter of fact, I bought parts to populate 5 boards, and this was I did this on my personal account, not the business. I wanted to basically have you know, the means to build 5 if I wanted to, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't have the transformers ordered yet. They're the most expensive part. I'll probably just do those one at a time. So and I may even borrow that one there from that kit just to do the initial testing on this one. I don't know yet. We'll see. But again, I still have, I've got everything at Tata except for I believe the balance control, and Bob has ordered I think 5 of those from Amazon. We couldn't find the exact one we needed at Tata, so he ordered those from Amazon. And also the 18-volt Zener diodes. They didn't have those at Tata as well, at least in the 1/2 watt. So I've got to find those to order on eBay or whatever and get those on their way here. So all that is combining to hopefully we're going to have this ready. I'm going to try to have this all painted up and ready to go by the time the boards get here and the parts get here. And I would like to do a demo of this, maybe I'm going to say in probably 2 or 3 weeks right now. Hopefully before February, as this is January the 1st. And so that's going to be the plan. And again, you know how plans work. I think everybody knows that. But like I said, that's the way this is going to be doing or working. And again, I'm very thrilled with the way this is. Like I said, the first time I did this, I tried to do it all in one. And that's the thing with 3D printing. It's very versatile on how you can do things, but there's certain things you can't print in a certain way. Now, I printed this flat like that. It printed just fine because there's nothing that needs support. It obviously is curved enough here where it just built it up. You can see on the edge there. It built just fine there and worked just fine on both sides. And so you can obviously see where the flat part was against the print bed of the printer, and where it starts on its curvature there. And so But again, like I said, that's going to be painted brown. All of this is, and now the again, this printed this way because you can't print it this way because this this grate here is up above the print bed by that much. You can see about 2 or 3 millimeters there. It's up above it, and obviously when it got to do that, it wouldn't work. So you print it that way, everything prints fine, and that's exactly what I did. Now the top is printing exactly like this, only the grate will be very much reduced, and it will be a flat, you know, case there on top. So once that's done, actually this is the front, but again the grate is about this big on the back, and again that will print fine. Again, that will hold that in perfectly. This thing is going to be, should be a good deal, I think, and I'm hoping it is. You know, I love to design stuff in Tinkercad, and I really love it when a plan comes together and, you know, everything works out like it should. So, and that's the thought process there on that, and I'm hoping it will work. So this is going to be my New Year's Day update, I guess. And other things, I don't know whether you can see it, I don't have the camera up high enough. There's 3 kits, BDST kits sitting here. We now have parts to fill up, I was waiting on parts for 4 of them, and we got the pots in the other day that we were waiting on, the volume pot on-off switch, and got that in, and now these are all complete kits ready to go. So I have 3 of those. I have 1 of those sold already, and I've got to mail that out Tuesday. Got that order yesterday, I believe, yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but so that will be going out, and then we'll have 2 left. I have plenty of the BDSI pre-built kits, pre-made, pre-put together, whatever you want to call them, kits over there in the other box. And if we get the parts for the amplifier, the 20 watt, then we will be probably stocking some parts for it as well. I don't know that we're going to go hog wild with the parts supply on this one. We may try to start off with 20 if we decide to even sell them. We haven't totally decided to do that yet, and we know the mono version of this amplifier works perfectly. I say perfectly, you know what I'm saying. It works without any problems. that's perfect in my book. And I also had bought this. This came in the other day. This is a AC version of a DC to DC buck converter. Basically, you can put in the AC in one input here, and then comes out DC. I think up to 50 volts, somewhere around in there. I don't recall exactly what the ratings is on this, but originally I was going to use that for this here, and then Bob said, well, let's just design a power supply for it and use a 24 volt regulator. And I said, well, okay, whatever. But this will be fun to play with. You know me, I like to play with things like that. I've got a DC version of this as well, but this is like I said, this will accept AC. There you can see the bridge rectifier on the end there, I think, right there. And we also ordered a bunch of those for future projects. I believe it's either a 2 or 3 amp version of one of those. And those are handy because for power supplies especially, and so I've got a bunch of parts coming for that. You know, all kinds of good stuff. And like I said, that's what our update is going to be for right now, I believe. Nothing else going on here at my house that I know of. Just been basically, like I said, working on this amplifier and project and stuff like that. So that's all that's going on. I hope everyone out there had a good Christmas and is prepared to have a good New Year. We're looking forward to that here at DERB and VD Electronic Kits. And so, like I said, if there's anything that comes up, now Brendan sent me a note this morning also about radio that he was wanting to basically share his interest in. And it was an Arvin radio. I believe it's called Midget Metal, something like that. I think the one he saw or gave me a link to was from 1946. I do look for those types of radios now and then on eBay places. I wouldn't mind having one. Those are 4-tube radios. They are super heterodyne. They're not TRF. Now I have seen TRF versions similar to that 4-tube, and so like I said, I would be interested in either one. But well, there's Bob's little text there. It's about his nap time, so I guess that's what he's doing. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to basically just keep looking for something like that to work on, and I believe it was Radio TV Phono Nut that he sent me a link to. I don't watch Brian's videos very much anymore, unless somebody sends me a link to them or something like that to see something. I couldn't take his negativity, his constant harping on Crosley's and cheap Japanese or Chinese parts, things like that. You know, it is what it is. There's no sense in harping about it. I think anybody involved in electronics, or mostly anything these days, because everything is made in China, I mean, they're aware of the situation there as far as the quality of the parts. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I've noticed some of their parts are getting better. So, you know, I know they've been at this for a lot of years as far as, you know, things like that. So, again, it is what it is, and so no sense in harping on it. And so, anywho, that's going to do me. I think, like I said, oh, I did want to show you this. I got a Christmas present. And let's see if I can open this up without too much hassle. My granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Jordan, had asked me if I wanted what I wanted for Christmas. Now, we drew names this year for our family, things like that, and that's what we did. But she wanted to buy everybody a present. I said, okay, well, here's what you can get me. And she did. So, you can see there, it's a nice transistor organization there, and assortment of them, actually. So, that's what I got. That was on Amazon. And so, like I said, those will come in handy for projects, things like that. And it's a good selection of transistors. And as such, I'm very happy about that. So, thanks to her for that. And like I say, I think that's going to do me. Waiting on this top to print. Had some problems with my Wi-Fi not working on the Octopi server, but it's still doing the print. So I think we're going to leave that go, and I'll worry about the Wi-Fi later. It just means I can't monitor the print as it sits there and prints. But if I'm sitting right here, I can monitor it pretty good. I really didn't have to monitor. Like I said, this here printed overnight, and I didn't have to do a thing with it. It printed just fine. So as long as things print out fine, there's really no need for monitoring. But you know, you kind of check on it, especially when you put in a new spool of filaments. You kind of like to make sure everything's printing like it should. And this seems to be working very well. I'm very pleased. This is my last roll of filament as far as the black, gray, and white that I usually get. So I've got to order another set of that. And I'll probably get the same kind because it is working just fine. So I'll have that to print. And if that lasts me another year, that'll be good. So like I say, that's enough. I blabbed on long enough. Nothing else going on that I know of. Hoping everyone, like I said, is having a good new year. The revelers, the party goers, whatever you want to call it here, went until after 1 this morning, and I finally went to bed after that because no sense in going or trying to sleep with rockets, red glare going off in your in your backyard there, as it were. So I just I like I said, I slept pretty good after 1, but I ended up waking up about, it was about 8 o'clock, I think. Bob had sent me a message, and it's like I said, I heard it, and then I kind of turned over and went back to sleep for a minute or two, and then ended up finally seeing what he wanted, and I ended up getting up then. So, but that was that. Starting off the new year right, I guess. But I was watching Musty One there in the living room before I did this, and I fell asleep watching that. So I did get a little nap in, so that's good. So, all right, that's gonna do me. You guys have a great day. Thank you so very much for watching, and we do appreciate that. And we will see ya.